Hi, in this video we're going to take a look at verifying IPv4 ACLs. Okay, so doing a show IP interface command shows us a lot of stuff about the interface, including the IP address of the interface, but it will also show us in the access list applied outbound and inbound to that interface. So we have none inbound set, but we have one outbound. ACL number 1. Show IP interface gig 00. Remember in a previous video, we did an access list called no access. We applied that outbound. If we do show access list, it shows us all of our access lists that we have configured for IPv4. We have a standard IPv4 access list, a numbered ACL called 1 is the ACL number, and it shows us not just the statements, but those sequence numbers. Okay. Also, with the extended access list number, it shows us our sequence numbers. Okay. I'll talk about the order of these. Notice we have 15 and 10 out of order. I'll talk about how that comes about in a moment. All right, so viewing the ACL statistics, okay, we can see that we have a match here and 4 matches and 4 matches. Notice that once we ping, let's say PC3 from PC1, which is going to make this PC1 being 192.168.10.10, we have more matches. So notice that the number of matches incremented from 4 to 8. So we can see how many times that access list statement, the access control list, and the individual entries were actually had any matches. It's also a way to test to see if our ACL is doing what we intend it to do. Of course, if we never see any matches and it should be matching, then there's obviously something wrong. Okay, we can clear those statistics. Okay, so here we have 8 matches there. I'm showing the standard IP access list 1. I'm highlighting that one. So let's clear the counters for access list 1. So clear access list counters 1. So we either give the number of the access list or the name if we wanted to clear no access. Okay, so now notice that we no longer have any matches showing for IP access list 1. All right, so a little bit about the internal logic. All right, so notice that I have configured an access list with 3 denies and 4 permits. Now notice I actually have the range of addresses denying specific subnets first, and then I'm permitting specific hosts. And now this is permitted because these hosts are not part of these subnet addresses. So I have the range, the network statements first that I configured, and then I put the specific hosts. Okay, but there's no conflicts here. Okay. So notice though, when I do show running config, it put the hosts first, followed by the network statements. Okay, it says this isn't going to affect your ACL list, but I can more efficiently process things by taking care of the individual host statements first and then doing the ranges. Matter of fact, I do show access lists, and look at this, huh? It shows the host statements listed first because it can more efficiently process those. Okay, and then it shows the range, but look at it kept our original sequence numbers. Okay, that's why in that previous show access list we did, that it showed some of the sequence numbers out of order. It says, well, you know, this is 50, 60, 40, 70. It didn't even keep these in order, but it does it arranges things what's most efficient for the router. Okay, without changing the logic. Now, if I do copy running config to startup config, which is always a good idea, so you don't get confused by these different sequence numbers, do copy running config to startup config, then reload the router, then notice it actually kept it in its order so it can most efficiently process the ACL, but it renumbered them. Okay, all right. Sometimes that can be a little confusing, and I just want to take a time to explain that a little bit. All right, so that's verifying IPv4 ACLs.